Hey everybody, welcome to the Calvin Show. That was me playing the guitar, as you can hear. It's not hooked up, so we have to make the sounds ourselves. Yeah, how's everybody doing? How are you doing, Aaron?
I'm doing great. We were just talking, and we're both getting over being a little sick, so it's nice to feel good again.
It is so good to feel good again. Yeah, great to feel good. Welcome to Calvin Show, episode 5, where latest version of the tagline. We're still working on the tagline. Latest version that I'm playing with is "Who are you and what the fuck do you want?" Well, because that was the two most important thing and difficult things for me. Most of my life I did not know who I was, and I sure as hell didn't know what I want. So if you heard me tell me some of my stories, you probably kind of see the centrality of that theme, if you will. So yeah, who are you and what the fuck do you want? And the funny thing is, it's not really about having an answer. Like, so who are you? Tell me. No, have you found out, Calvin? It's not really about having an answer and being able to put that into like an elevator pitch or anything like that. But it's about really asking those questions and keep asking those questions. Keeping rediscovering who you are at a felt level, not necessarily in words, but as something that you feel and connect with, and also continuously asking yourself, what do I actually want? Like, from what do I want to eat for breakfast today to, what are the big things that I want to accomplish with my life?
Right.
So
Yeah. The continual process of self-inquisition.
yeah, self-rediscovery, self-inquisition, exactly.
Cool.
All right.
So so let's get the question started. We like we said, we both have been a little sick. So I was thinking, one question I would love to ask you, because this is something I really admire about you, is when your body is clearly going through something, and whether it's the flu or whether it's the cold or whatever, how do you allow yourself the time and the space to get well? Because so many of us just push and push and push through. It's like, oh, I'm a little sick. It's fine. I'm just going to push through. But you basically go radio silent, and I think that's fantastic. So talk us through kind of your process on that.
Yeah, I'm happy to. It's a great question because it's actually not something that I've struggled with or evolved around or learned about over time. I think like that, I definitely have that side that just wants to push all the time and just, be productive, make something happen, have results. And I just saw over time that it didn't work. It didn't help. I could be super, super productive, very efficient, but not very effective, right?
Mm.
So really good at getting a lot of things done. And then, a year later, you can see that it was totally, unnecessary, meaningless, busy work. And after having done that so many times, I just decided not to do that. So I'm much more, chill and relaxed about everything in general now than I was then. When I do get sick like this, I just had a cold, but it's no fever or anything like that, but just feeling like shit pretty much, and definitely low energy. And there are a certain number of things that I have to take care of every day. I need to check in with Sinclair and make sure that everything's cool there. Even though I have Mandy to do customer service, I still need to just help her out and make sure that everything keeps running smoothly.
Mm-hmm.
So and then I do the things that I really want to do. So I'd still maybe, for example, be making music or writing some things or reading books that are relevant and stuff, but just be very mindful about not forcing myself to do things that I really don't have the energy for.
Mm.
And that's kind of the approach that I take, whether I'm sick or well. Like, there's always, things that you have to get done. Right now we're, applying for a renewal or for a visa here. And it's not fun, but it just has to get done,
Right.
You try to make it fun and you try to fit it in ways that it's still fun, but really not force it. even so, yesterday, for example, I had a few drinks on Saturday night and had a good time with some friends. And Sunday I needed a chill day. Brief interruption. Gay Hendricks is one of the guys that I've used as a mentor for years. And he's really awesome. He said something once that really stuck with me. It was like, having like A days and B days. So like A days where you get you're productive and you get things done, and then B days where as he said it, he says, I will go out of my own way to make sure I don't do anything productive. And so, for some people that's weekdays and weekends, but for someone like me, it doesn't have to be weekdays and weekends. I can pick, whatever weekdays I want to do, and I can wake up in the morning and be like, I think today is a B day. And so yesterday was a B day for me. It was a Sunday, but it was a B day, and I stayed in bed till like 1 watching Empire, the TV show,
Nice.
and then like I got a little tired of that, and then I started reading a book, and then I read a little bit in another book, and then finally I was like, let me just go outside and walk around East Village and see what I bump into, get some lunch, and it was really cozy, and I really enjoyed it. And it's so interesting because even though I can totally afford a B day, there's still that nagging voice in the back of my head being like, well, you're not productive, you should be doing something. And you'll notice that even though it's a B day, I'll read autobiographies from musicians. I was reading a biography about Elon Musk, the entrepreneur. I was watching Empire TV show, which I read about in Timbaland's autobiography, which is about the music business. So I still kind of make it a little
relevant.
Read it, And I think I think a lot of it's just like, I love my work and I'm passionate about the things that I work with. So it's natural for me. It's natural that it would happen that way. But there's still this voice, and I started listening to it and paying attention to it yesterday, actually. And what I realized was, it's not that I need to get these things done, but it's that when I'm free to choose what to do, then I start to criticize myself and be like, is this really the best thing? And like, and there's like an old voice about, you're such a loser and you'll never amount to anything.
Right.
If you don't like work harder or something. And I realized also that a key piece of it is this feeling that the shit could hit the fan at any time, like things could start to crumble around me at any time, which is kind of like a deep undercurrent of anxiety that I have in me, of like, you never know, I gotta hold on to things because you never know when things could break, no matter how good they look now.
Right.
It's so
I think so many of us have that.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a very human instinct of like, yeah, the fire's going and we have meat now, but what if there's a frost soon? Or,
exactly. Yeah. I was talking to my dad a few weeks ago on Skype, and we were just talking about how great my life is and how great my business is going, and it keeps growing. And he was like, yeah, but nothing lasts forever. And what are you going to do? And I'm like, oh, now I know where that voice comes from.
Oh, there's that voice in physical form.
So, yeah, but so that underlying fear of like when shit hits the fan, and if in that moment I happened to be slaving away at the keyboard and working productively at something, well, at least I was doing something. But if I was just chilling and enjoying life and just relaxing and feeling safe and good, then that's the problem. That's where the real kind of shame and like, oh my God, I did something wrong thing happen. And I think there must be like some experience of like, maybe I was playing with my friends and just having fun, and I don't know if it irked my dad or something, and then he comes in like, la la la, and how can you play when this, that, and blah blah blah, or something like that, I don't have like a specific memory necessarily, but it feels like there could be some truth to that.
It's so interesting though, because if like thinking about it, if shit does hit the fan at some point, whether or not you're typing or whether or not you're sitting there playing guitar, it's completely irrelevant.
It doesn't really
It's
matter.
gonna
Yeah.
hit the fan regardless.
Right. Well, and you can actually say, well, the more kind of relaxed and chill and happy you are, the more effective you're going to be at and handling it. Actually, I'm just realizing that now. Yeah, that's a good point. But I was talking to my wife about it, to Phoebe about Nomi about it, actually. She's going out with her new name, Nomi now.
Oh yeah, okay.
Actually. So I was talking to Nomi about it, and she was like, yeah, I have the same thing, and my dad was the same way. And I was like, yeah, maybe their dads was the same way. Like, there's definitely like a cultural thing here going on, right?
Interesting.
And in that way, in that sense, I also realized that there's something nice about being in this like responsive firefighting mode. Oh shit, there's something, crisis thing going on with Sinclair or whatever. I gotta fix it now. Well, that takes away from me that responsibility for choosing wisely what I do with my time. Now I don't have that choice. There's a freedom in that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Absolutely.
So, and if you're not careful, that kind of thing can make you produce firefighting crises all the time.
Because that's what feels right to you. That's where
exactly.
you feel.
It feels safe and yeah.
So I'm curious, was there like a specific point that you can remember where it's like, where you kind of changed your paradigm on this, where it was like, okay, I'm no longer just going to work to make myself feel like I'm doing something worthwhile?
What comes to mind is like there's like in 2009, I did a bunch of like product launches for information products where I never went through with them. Like I would, 2009 was like right at the beginning, like December 2008 was when I had my first hit information product, and I went full time into that and realized that I didn't have to sell myself as a freelance programmer anymore. And then it worked really well at first, but then later on I started to come up with these product ideas, and I would define the product and figure out everything that I wouldn't actually record and make the product, because you always do that best after you've sold it. But I think all about it. I do market research. I do marketing. I'd write all the sales copy and do the launch and all that stuff. And then right as I was about to hit the trigger on the, on the launch, or even after launching and like sales didn't really happen, I would bail out. I would just give up. And then I was like, holy shit, I wasted all this time on projects that I ended up not completing. What if so I'm just as well off. I would have been just as well off if I hadn't done any of that.
Right.
So that just made me realize that there are so many things like that. And like every time you feel that you're like, I gotta do this stuff, like think it through. Do I really have to do this stuff? Or am I really committed to going through with this project if it turns out to be, if there are obstacles, if it turns out to require like 3 times the effort and time and investment and everything, would I still go through with it?
Right.
And if the answer is no, then don't do it.
Well, it's interesting. I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were saying that they have this thing that they do where if they ask themselves, okay, do I want to be doing this? If it's like an immediate yes, then it's a yes.
Yeah.
If it's a no, then it's a no. But if it's a yeah, then it's also a no. Because if there's any bit of hesitation like that, then it's like, okay, then you shouldn't be spending your time on that.
Noe and I and some friends of us have this expression of, it's either a hell yes or a no.
Exactly.
Then don't do it.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
And it's a really good rule of thumb, because we're all so good at convincing ourselves of things, right? I was talking to Nomi about that too the other day, how we have the brain, the right side of the brain is the part that feels, and the left side of the brain is the part that has words. Those two parts don't actually have direct connections to each other. So very often when we feel something and we have to say why we feel it, the why is actually a complete fabrication. It's a rationalization.
It's us just trying to figure it out.
Left brain trying to come up with an explanation that sounds plausible for why we feel this way, but it might not be true at all. And so that
think about.
And what it does is that it makes us, when we feel like we have to justify that tends to get into the left brain, which then tends to get into overruling how we actually feel. But if we just pay attention to how we feel, how do I feel about this project? Does it make me feel light and easy and alive and flowing, or does it make me feel a little
like, words don't have to even enter into the picture.
Exactly. You just, I was reading the story about a Japanese businessman who was like, I just trust my gut. If I feel good in my stomach, I do it. If I don't, I don't. No explanation necessary. No need to justify anything. It's just doesn't feel right. All right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good explanation.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So the being sick in general, like, yeah, I've realized that it's a much better investment to take those B days and take the downtime that you need and relax a little, and then do the things that really fire you up. Because again, look at my life. It's for 20 years I was so busy doing stuff that I didn't realize that I wanted to do music, right? There's always a deeper level of truth about who you are,
right,
and what you really want to do that's available for you to discover. And you can't discover that when you're keeping yourself super busy doing all kinds of stuff.
Totally. Beautiful. Thank you, man.
All right. Thank you. So what do we say here? We say subscribe to the newsletter. Is going to be down here or over there, or maybe over there, who knows. And subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. And leave a comment on the blog, not on YouTube. You can leave it on the blog. We'd like to keep the community discussion going on the blog, right?
Beautiful.
Yeah. All right. Check in again soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.